Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this week's Coffee Talk. We'll go ahead and get started. We have Miss Ellen joining us, and we are going to be talking about healthy habits and nutrition. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Ellen.
Okay, thank you very much, Rachel. Well, thank you all for joining today. As I have been mentioning this month that March has always been set aside as National Nutrition Month. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And the theme this year is personalizing your plate. And I think I've shown this, sorry, try to have everything on mute. I think I've showed this plate, during the month here. So we're going to be talking about making this plate your plate today. So I do have a PowerPoint that I want to start with and just kind of, we'll go from there. So let me get that set up here. Okay, and I have to change my setting here. So, all right. So can you all see the screen? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. So,
Ellen, is your PowerPoint, are you trying to show? I can't see it actually.
I can't see it either.
You what?
Are you
can't see the
sharing your
screen?
PowerPoint? No,
I am.
No, just see you.
Just, yeah.
Let's hold on just a minute. Let's see. Let me. Okay, hold on here. Yep. Okay. I'm not very good at two screens here, so bear with me here. Okay, I think, all right, this is, okay. Now.
Yes.
You can see it now?
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes.
All right. Is it a full screen that you can see?
Yes.
It's we can see the notes at the bottom too.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm still trying. I thought I had this worked out. Sorry, everybody. Well, you know what? I guess I'm just going to leave it that way because I can't.
Try from beginning up in that top left on the little bar that they have. Yeah, see if that does it for you. Perfect.
Is that it?
That did it.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay, thank you. So what we're going to be talking about today is kind of the benefits of a healthy eating style, how that can help reduce some of our health conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, high cholesterol, and then some types of cancer, and how to personalize your plate. So going to be looking at that healthy plate, including a variety of foods from all food groups. Okay, and ideally you're not separating, but you are including fruits and vegetables with every meal, as well as some type of protein. And as we age, protein is often something that we don't get enough of. And our bodies sometimes have a harder time metabolizing protein. So you do need to make sure you have protein. Okay, so personalizing your plate to what you like. And I always say that every food fits. It might be that you need to limit the frequency or the amount, but I always say every food fits. So we're looking at what you like, what your preferences are. It might be what your culture is, what you were brought up in your family. So everything fits. So this is showing you that half your plate, fruits and vegetables. Now for some, particularly for like a diabetic healthy food plate, they say half your plate vegetables. And then you can see here, you've got, some protein, which is in the way of beef, pork, chicken, dried beans, legumes. Do any of you eat with cook meals with dried beans?
I do.
Like soup beans, right? Black beans, pinto beans.
Pinto
What kind do
beans.
you make, Barbara?
Pinto beans. I love them.
Yes, yes. They're so healthy for us. They not only have it's a good source of protein, but also fiber, and then low in fat and cholesterol. So it can always be a really good choice. And then some type of grain or cereal. And it's always encouraged to have at least half of the grains that you take in each day to be whole grains. If you can do more than that, that's even better. So with the spaghetti that you fixed last night, was your pasta a regular pasta, Barbara?
Well, yeah, it was just the thin pasta though. It's the thin.
Okay, very good. A lot of people do like to do like a whole grain, but for some people, that's a little bit different taste for them. So
Yeah,
you can combine the two to kind of get accustomed to that taste as well.
well, that's what I do for Brandon. He's 18 and I do the thin one for him. But when I'm going to have it too, then I use the whole grain wheat for myself.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay. Fruits. George, you mentioned having fruits for snack. That's ideal. Snacks, as well as along with the meal, but they do make a very healthy snack. And as opposed to, like cookies or ice cream that we would love to have.
Yeah.
But again, you can on occasion, you can fit that in. Okay. The vegetables, sometimes vegetables are hard to get in. And I always say, if you can't even begin at breakfast time with some vegetables, whether it's, if you do an omelet or eggs, you can always, scramble in some vegetables with that, or maybe a vegetable juice. Of course, you would want to kind of be mindful of the sodium content of that if you're watching your sodium. So vegetables are fun. The more color, the better, I always say. You get a variety of vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, which we know are really good for us in your vegetables and fruits.
Well, what about smoothies? I like smoothies. For lunch, I do like to get a strawberry banana smoothie in. But how many calories is in that?
Well, it depends on how it's made. Now, do you make that or do you purchase that out?
No, I go to McDonald's and get it.
Well, that's something I would have to look up the caloric content of. Depends on what they're putting into it. Smoothies can be very healthy, but they can also be high in calories. If you're putting a lot of fruit in there, sometimes there's fruit juice in there.
And I asked them, but they don't give you out that information. I don't know why.
Okay.
They don't.
Okay. Well, I will certainly look that up for you.
Okay.
Are you going to come on to the cooking show later on today?
At what time?
It's at 1:30.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, but if you happen to come on, I'll have that information for you.
Okay.
I'll check McDonald's website. But again, that is something, that you do have to be mindful of, it's full
Mhm.
of nutritious ingredients, but
But the
it's
calories.
blended down and it can have a fair amount of calories in it. And you do
I
lose a
don't do
little
it
bit of the
often, but
fiber that
every
way
once
when
in a
it's broken
while. Yeah.
down. Okay, then of course the protein we talked about a little bit. Again, the dried beans and lentils are a really good choice for health. Seafood, they recommend, maybe a couple times a week. You do want to be mindful if you're like doing like tuna can have a fair amount of mercury in it. So that's one of those fish that they say, don't have like too many times during the week.
Mhm.
And the albacore tuna has more in it than just your regular light tuna.
Okay.
Okay, dairy. Do you find dairy hard to get in? A lot of people do.
No,
Okay,
no.
so many options for that, but we still definitely need that as we get older for our bone strength.
Yogurt
Along
and
with-
cheese are very good. I don't do milk, but yogurt and cheese, I do
Okay.
both of those. Mhm.
Okay, good.
No soy milk.
You don't like the soy?
No, I don't like the soy.
Do you do cow's milk or do you do another plant-based milk?
It'd be the almond breeze.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Right.
Okay, and those plant-based milks, it's always good to look at the label on them because they're not all made the same, and some of them, if you're not doing like a plain milk, if you're doing like a vanilla flavored milk, they do add typically sugar with that. So it's always good to look at the label and two, look at what you want out of the milk. Are you wanting the calcium content of it? Are you wanting the protein content of it? And a lot of them do vary in those amounts. So for instance, soy milk, I know Galaxy, I'm sorry, your name? You said you don't like the soy milk?
Oh, no. My name is Pamela.
Pamela, okay. I thought, yes, I looked and of course I still have my
They-
glasses
and it
on, but
says
still I didn't read it very
Galaxy,
well, so
yeah.
sorry about that. But soy milk is the one milk that has the closest nutrient composition to cow's milk because it has the most protein in it compared to the other milks. But if you're not looking for protein, if you're getting protein in other ways, then it's not really a big issue.
Mm.
Okay. I meant to, before we got started, to suggest if anyone had a can or something with a label on it, and if you want to go get one, you certainly can. But like I mentioned with the milk label, it's always good to look at the labels and really see what you're getting from that. And for instance, this one, I'm not sure what it actually is, but it does have a fair amount of calories. You can see the fat content is 8 grams. Total carbohydrate, which if you're looking for, like a sugar, if you're watching your sugar, diabetes, the 37 grams in a serving is higher. That's like two servings of a carbohydrate. It doesn't have a whole lot of protein. It has 3 grams of protein. So one of the rules they have with nutrition labeling, have you heard of the 5-20 rule? The 5-20 rule is that in the top section of the label, which has the fat, cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrate, ideally it, for a perfect healthy food for you, it wouldn't be more than 5% of your daily intake. So for instance, this one with the total fat has 10%, it's 10% of your daily, allotment for fat. So that would be higher in the fat category. Whereas the 20 rule, that's with the healthy part of the label, which is the lower part, the vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium. So if it's 20% or more, then that's a healthy, nutritious choice. So I know, Barbara, did you go get a label of something?
I did.
What have you got there?
It's honey bunch oats. This is what I usually eat for breakfast with almonds.
Okay.
It's 170 calories a cup. That's without milk, and I don't put milk in it.
Okay.
And the cholesterol is 0. Sodium is 8%. Carbohydrates 12%. No sugars. Well, it says total sugars 9 grams. Then it include 8 additional sugars. I don't know what that means, but that's 15%.
There's other sugars in fiber. The fiber content can have
Okay, that's
sugar
what
in it.
okay. Mhm.
So as far as the serving size, you said it's 1 cup.
1 cup.
Okay, and that's
That's-
something to look at too, because sometimes the serving size they have listed is not what you would typically eat.
Right.
Okay, I think, let's see if I have this next slide. Yes, for instance,
Mhm.
this Ben and Jerry's
Oh, that
ice
looks so
cream.
good. Yes.
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 But
Mhm.
yes, it is very good. But now let's look at the serving size of that. The serving size is a half a cup,
Half cup.
a half a cup. So do we
It's
eat a
not
half a
much.
cup? Do we eat a half a cup at a time? At
No.
a sitting?
Oh,
Sometimes
No.
we eat the whole carton, don't we?
Yeah, sometimes.
Exactly. So you do really need to look at the label, look at the serving size. Now on your cereal there, a 1 cup serving, that's probably about right.
Yeah.
It depends. You might do a little bit more than that. I don't know. But it
I
sounds
do. Let me. Can I get the cup and show you what I measure it with?
certainly,
Okay.
certainly. Okay, now did someone else get a label? Get a, what have you got there, my dear? Oh, Jiffy, is it cornbread mix?
yes.
Okay. Okay,
But I got a cereal box as well.
okay. All
Hold
right.
up.
So your cup, Barbara, is, let's see your cup.
Yeah.
So is it full probably of the cereal?
No,
when you
it's not
measure it
anything
out?
in it now, but I can put it in. It's bigger than a regular cup, though.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's what I
So
was
it might
gonna
be a
say.
little bit more.
Yeah, that's what I put it in the mornings. Let's see here. Yeah, it's bigger than a regular cup.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
It's a kind of, maybe it's
maybe a cup and a half? What do you, or
a cup and a quarter. Cup and a
Yeah.
quarter, I would say.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty close to what they
Yeah.
have on the label.
mhm.
Okay, all right. And so how many grams of carbohydrate did it have in it?
Let's see, carbohydrates. Let's go take.
Should be about in the middle of the label, maybe, total
Okay, total
carbohydrate.
carbohydrates is 12%.
And does it say how many
34
grams it is?
34 grams.
30, okay.
Mhm.
So that's kind of, if you're familiar with, kind of how diabetics count their carbohydrate, their sugars, that's about like 2 servings of like a carbohydrate. in that.
Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
but praise God, I'm not a diabetic, so.
Right. Okay. So then your Jiffy mix, what have you got on that?
Okay, what do you need to know about I got the Jiffy Mix and the cereal.
Okay, well, we can start with the cereal. You want to start with the cereal, Cheerios?
Okay. I have cholesterol 0 and 1% with a half a cup of skim milk.
Okay.
And carbohydrates is 11%.
How many total grams of carbohydrate does it say?
29.
29. Okay. What's the serving size on that?
1 cup.
Okay. Does that seem about right for what you probably eat? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm. Now, what did it say for fiber, dietary fiber?
3 grams, 9%.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
So that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's always good to look at the serving size and then, relate that to what you would typically be eating from that. So again, Ben and Jerry's, if you can keep to half a cup and have it, on occasion, if you're trying to, watch, what you're eating and being mindful of what you're eating.
I try to eat it only on Sundays.
Well, there you go. That's perfect. That is perfect. Okay. Now you can see down here on it, the calcium, it does have some calcium, of course, being a milk product. So it does give you a little bit of calcium, 15% for the day. So there is that. Okay. Were there any other labels that you all wanted to look at that you had?
No.
Okay. All right.
Ah.
So we're starting with simple, and I really feel, we've gone through so many different food groups over the years. We had the food pyramid most recently before the plate, and that really was not successful in that style of eating. You had so many carbohydrates that you ate that's kind of when we as Americans kind of took a turn towards increased weight gain, increased diabetes, because we were eating all those carbs. So right now, it's so simple with creating a plate, and you just, like I showed you before, half your plate fruits and vegetables, then a quarter of your plate grains, a quarter of it protein, and then making sure you're getting some dairy throughout the day. As older adults, we need, probably like 3 servings of milk or milk products during the day. A lot of you may be on calcium supplement. That's often recommended by our physicians as well, like a calcium with vitamin D in it. Okay. All right. This is something we talked about a little bit last week, distracted eating, and how many of us are very much preoccupied when we're eating, whether we're hopefully not driving and trying to eat a burger like that, but we eat. I know I sometimes eat while I'm getting ready in the morning for work, eat on the run. Maybe I'm cleaning up something in the kitchen as I'm eating off my plate. So it's very easy to do. But how many times in front of the TV, in front of the computer, how many times have you been eating and multitasking, shall we say, and you finish with your meal and you don't remember anything you ate? You don't remember any of the flavors. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
We do that, don't we?
Yeah.
And I love to eat. I love to cook. And I love to taste the flavors. And when I do that and I haven't focused on that, I get so mad at myself. So it's really important to really focus on the food, on the flavors of it, just, relaxing, trying to be mindful with what you're doing. And it allows you to really enjoy the meal. And studies suggest that people that are more mindful when they're eating, that they have lower blood pressure. They don't gain weight, because what they're doing is that they're listening to their bodies. They're eating when they're hungry. A lot of people watch the clock. Oh, it's 12 o'clock noon, I must eat.
No.
But if you're not hungry, should you really eat? Or, if you have a poor appetite, then that's a different story. And if you're losing weight, that's a different story. But we should eat, we should listen to our body. Are we hungry? And then also, while we're eating slowly, allows our body to kind of catch up with our intake.
Right.
And
That's a good-
realize, okay, you know what? I'm full now, and I don't need to finish my plate.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to waste. I was brought up in a family of 8 kids, and you did not waste food.
Right. You ate it.
Right. Exactly. So there's a 2-plate method that some people like to use, where they fix a plate of what they think they probably will eat, but then they serve themselves off that plate and then eat that, and then decide after they've done that, well, was that enough? Maybe it was. And then they finished. Again, you don't want to waste food, but maybe that's where coming to using a smaller plate. Sometimes, we have those big, huge dinner plates and we fill them up even on the rim. But if we use a more smaller plate, maybe like a 7-inch plate, maybe even a 6-inch plate, and divide our plate up to that. And, with the 4 food groups on that, then that might be the right size for us. But there's no right amount or wrong amount for anyone, or right foods or wrong foods. And that's why, we are trying to personalize our plate. That's the theme this year, to make it right for what's you. I'm a very small person, so the amount that I need would be different than someone who's larger than me. So there's no set rules with that. Any thoughts on that?
I got a question.
About, yes, sir.
Say this wrong, I guess. I'm taking like Monday. This past Monday, I was like, I ate all day. I don't know what was wrong. I just gotta have something to eat. Gotta get this.
Sometimes you do that.
And that's like maybe once every 3-4 months, something like that happens. And it's like, why am I eating so much? And it's not where I was full or anything. It was just, I gotta have these nabs, or I gotta eat this banana. I gotta eat this. I gotta eat that. And even though I'm still eating this, I eat the same times that I normally do, but in between those times and afterwards, it was like I need to eat something. And I guess mentally I was just retarded or whatever, but it was like I could not stop eating Monday.
Well, can you associate anything that happens or that has had happened maybe prior to that on those days that happens?
No, not really. It was but basically it was like a normal Monday, I guess I would say.
Right. So
But
it
it
wasn't
was
like any
boredom.
stress eating.
No, it wasn't stress or nothing, because no, I didn't have any stress.
Right.
Were
So
you both
had you
working?
eaten much on Sunday? I'm sorry.
I was just saying.
Had you eaten much on? I'm sorry, Barbara.
I should have raised my hand. Boredom is the thing that makes me eat sometimes. if I'm bored and I'm sitting in
Right.
front of the computer and I see cookies on the table.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a little bit of distracted eating too, but
Mhm.
yes, that can do it. There are lots of reasons. There could be maybe on Sunday, maybe you had a day that you really didn't eat much and you were just trying to catch up.
I don't know. No, I ate normally. I guess I'd say normal. But
Mhm.
because Monday after, I guess like after 10, 11 o'clock, it was like I was reading a novel, but nothing special that was any way different, I don't think, than normal days.
Right,
And like I didn't have any stress on me,
right,
and I don't know. I wasn't anxious about anything.
right.
But,
Well,
it was just that one day that I went berserk and had to eat.
well,
When
I
it-
guess you're fortunate that it only happens once every 3 or 4 months, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Oh gosh. But I don't know. I just looked back over the weekend, and because like I said, I went to the doctor yesterday, and I mentioned it to her, and she was going, don't know. And then she asked me the same questions that you guys been asking. And
Uh-huh.
I told her no. I said I was just sitting around and just reading a novel, and it's just like, oh, get me a banana. Oh, get me a tangerine. Oh, get me this. But it was like, and I never filled up. I'm saying, I get to say,
Mhm.
no, because
Well,
I don't know.
it sounds like you were making good choices though, eating fruit.
Yeah, but it was
Okay,
like,
so,
why?
right,
Like
right.
because the amount I ate Monday could have been for 2 days.
My goodness.
It felt like that, after it was over with, and you think back, it's like, dang, that could have been 2 days. I ate this, and I ate this much, but I don't know.
Right. Well, how did you eat on Tuesday then? Was Tuesday back to a normal
Normal,
day?
back to normal. Wednesday was the same way. So might have had a big worm and then eaten some feed.
Let's hope not.
Oh gosh.
Oh. Do you ever, when you go out to eat, I rarely go out, but the second picture I have here, do you see this as much as I do, where people are on their phones, they're not even interacting with each other,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's very sad, I think. Especially sad when I see families doing that, when
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
children and parents.
Yes.
To see what now you said?
I'm sorry.
It's sad to see a family on the phone at dinner. Is what you said.
Yes, yeah, they're not interacting with each other. I think mealtime should be, a relaxing time. It should be interactive.
Yes.
Right, right. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it's not that way anymore.
It is not, is it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Have any of you been going out at all to dine?
No. No.
Yeah, that's
No.
good.
Ma'am.
That's good. All right. This is something that I always love to do. This is something I really impress on with mindfulness. Oh, let me back up just a minute. I didn't ask you if anyone did their mindfulness eating last week. We had talked about it last week about maybe trying it. Did anyone fit a meal in with eating mindfully and without distractions? It looks like Rachel did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Anybody else?
Yeah.
George did. Okay.
I wasn't
Okay,
on
Tom
last
did.
week, so
Okay. So how was that? What kind of reactions did you have?
I guess for myself that day it was like it took a little longer to eat, I guess is what I'm saying. In the sense,
Right.
say if you finish a meal in say 10 minutes or whatever, it might have been like, say, finish it in 15 because it was more of nothing to, I guess, say, distract you where you're not even paying attention to what you're doing,
Right.
you know, and it was like that instead of gobble, 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 you kind of like, no,
Right.
sit down,
Mhm.
just like that.
Mhm. Any other
I
comments?
noticed that I didn't, when I slowed down on my eating, I didn't get full as I got fuller fast when I
Mhm.
slowed down.
Mhm.
But when I was eating faster, I ate. In other words, there was food left on my plate that I didn't want when I slowed my eating habit down.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
When I was eating faster, I ate all the food
yeah. Mhm.
for some reason.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. So what did you do with that leftover food that you didn't really feel like you needed to eat? Did you go ahead and eat it?
Trashed it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Did I
Okay.
what? Oh.
So you didn't eat it. Okay. Okay.
No.
Mhm. Well, see, that's exactly, kind of the thought process behind that you're eating slower. They say it takes your brain about 20 minutes to know when you've had or for your stomach to tell your brain that you've had enough to eat. So if you slow down and take your time while eating, you will get that sense of fullness
Yeah.
when you've had enough. So that's good. Okay, very good. Okay, so the 2-minute rule, you want to know what the 2-minute rule is. Okay, it's not about eating. No, much longer than 2 minutes to eat. Thinking about a 24-hour day, and there are 1,440 minutes in a 24-hour day. So my challenge to you is to take 2 minutes out of those 1,440 minutes, which really isn't very much. I didn't do the math. I'm not sure what fraction that is, but you can tell it's a very small amount. And just do some mindfulness, just some relaxation. You can put music on, close your eyes, think, or you can think of, your favorite relaxing spot. For me, as I've got on here, I love to go to the ocean and listen to the waves, feel, the sun on my face, and I find it very, very relaxing. So what I want to do today, I'm going to stop sharing the screen here, and we're going to put on a different screen. Okay, good to see you all again. All right, now let's see if I can figure this out. Okay. I'm going to turn on some music, hopefully here. And get my, okay. See if this will work. Now, can you hear the music at all?
No.
No.
Okay, let's see. I'm still trying here. Hold on. hear it now at all?
Yes, just a little bit.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Let's see.
Oh, that's better. There it is.
Okay. What I want for you to do, we're going to take 2 minutes here. I want you to close your eyes if you want and just sit back in your chair and just lower your shoulders. Okay, and just relax. Maybe some deep breathing. So in through your nose, out through your mouth. Okay, maybe start kind of bringing yourself back to the present. Okay. Feel any different? I feel a little bit more relaxed. How about you all?
Mhm.
Okay. Feel any different?
Refreshed a
Yeah,
little
good.
bit. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm a really firm believer of that, of being more mindful in our lives. I think that, if you're looking to make any changes in your dietary intake, if there's, something that you want to increase your intake of or decrease your the Ben and Jerry's, whatever. I always feel like you need to have a good mindset for that. And I think starting with, you know, being mindful, being relaxed, being good to your body in a mindful way really puts you in a situation where you are more inclined to make good choices. I think if we're feeling good physically, mentally, that we're just more prepared to make those changes.
So that's the 2-minute rule.
That's my 2-minute rule. Exactly. Every day. And it doesn't have to be with music. I love nature. I love to go outside on my back porch and listen to the birds in the morning.
Yes.
And that's a great way for me to start my day. So it's whatever works for you, whatever is your enjoyment, find that. And you know what, you can even do more than 2 minutes. Maybe even, start your day and end your day that way.
Mhm.
It just makes us maybe more grateful for what we have as well, which is very
Yes.
important for our health as well.
Yes, I agree.
Mhm.
Great, great.
And I see you have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yes, it's really a comment. Um,
Mhm.
in the mornings, that's the first thing I do in the mornings. I make my coffee, and I like to listen to my gospels in the morning. So I go on my back porch and I drink my coffee and I listen to my gospel, and that kind of relaxes and starts my day. And it really makes me feel better.
Mhm. It's a great way to begin your day. It kind
Mhm.
of sets the tone for the day, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it does. It does.
Other comments or questions?
I had a question for you. So one
Mhm.
thing I know with a healthy diet and lifestyle is including a lot of water in throughout the day. How much water should we actually be drinking?
Right, that's a good question. And it varies on, of course, body size and weather and so many things. A good rule of thumb that I think, it may sound kind of gross maybe, but it's the color of your urine.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
if it's dark yellow, you're not getting enough. But if it's that light yellow,
Yeah.
you're probably right on target. Whereas if it's clear, well, you're just drinking too much.
Yeah.
So, and you don't want to do that. I mean, that's almost or almost worse than not drinking enough. But
Yeah.
when we have an imbalance in our fluids, it does work against our electrolytes, and that can cause all sorts of problems. So, I mean, that, the general rule of thumb they used to say, like 8 cups of water a day. But there's a lot of water. There's water in a lot of like fruits, like of course watermelon, but there's other melons. So you get water in different ways. But that's a rule that I think works pretty well. Just a light yellow urine color.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Another question was, what if you don't particularly care for vegetables? I think is something common that a lot of people don't really like to eat. Do you have any good advice on how to get those in?
Yeah, that's a great question. Sorry, my light always goes off if I don't move. Um, you can prepare them. If you're not really fond of like raw vegetables, although a lot of people do. If you eat them like with a dip or something, of course you would want to. I would encourage a healthy dip to use. For instance, like plain yogurt with herbs in it makes a great dip, rather than like sour cream and mayonnaise. I find roasted vegetables to be very tasty. I think rather than like boiled or steamed,
Yes.
the roasting of them and maybe some seasoning on them, I think that really enhances the flavor of vegetables. I see some nods of the head. Do you do that at home?
Yes. Brussels
Mhm.
sprouts. I love to put them in the oven. Oh, they're delicious.
Absolutely.
My favorite.
Right. And there are lots of
Yeah,
so many of the
I
herbs
do a
go
lot of stir fry.
stir
Mhm.
fry.
I do a lot of stir fry, but I don't. I use the like the Pam, the nonstick vegetable spray. I don't use the oil,
Good.
so that cuts out on a lot of that.
Right. Well, what vegetables do you like to put in your stir fry?
Broccoli, cauliflower. I even do cabbage sometimes.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
And just different, and onions, along with onions, stir fry with onions, and pretty good.
That's excellent. That is excellent. You can always, I'm thinking about, we all, or a lot of us have had children and grandchildren, and sometimes it's hard to get them to eat. So I'm thinking, sometimes, if you like chop up vegetables or grate them and then put them like in spaghetti sauce, kind of hide them in, but it just enhances the nutrition of the tomato sauce. But and a lot of times you don't realize you're eating them because they're kind of hidden by the other flavors of it too. Or as I mentioned earlier, the like the tomato juice or other vegetable juices, that can be an okay substitute now and then.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts out there? It sounds like we've got some really good cooks out there.
Now, I just found that, a lot of people has this big bottles of water to drink during the day and so forth. But I found for myself is I'll get the small bottles and drink those because it's like I like cool drinking,
Mm-hmm.
and so by the time I finish this small bottle of water, it's not warm, I'm gonna say, but it's still a little cool. Because if you get the big bottle, it's like, you know.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, you're more inclined to drink it when it's cool, it sounds like.
yeah, and then I drink a lot of cranberry juice.
Mm-hmm.
I drink tons of that, so it's like, eh. So I'm keeping the cranberry juice in business.
Okay. Now that would be a label you might want to look at, George.
Yeah, but what I do is if I pull, say, maybe 2 inches in the glass,
Mm-hmm.
there's probably about 6, 8 ice cubes in there.
Oh, perfect. So
Okay.
you're
By the
really
time
diluting it
Yeah,
down.
and so it's really diluting it down. But
Good.
like I said, if I put 2 inches of cranberry juice in there, like I said, it's a bunch. It's filled up with ice.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Okay. Mhm. All right.
Well, Ellen, that was a wonderful presentation. I know I learned a lot. Especially about reading labels. That's not something you learn a whole lot about. And so
Mhm.
learning those details and what to be looking at, the percentages, I think was really interesting and very helpful.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions? I know we kind of covered a lot, but does anyone have any other questions or comments?
I have a comment on the relaxation part and the deep breathing. That was very good. It relaxed me so much.
Good.
Yes.
Well, I think we all need it.
I will do that daily if I can remember to do it daily, but I will do that. Yes.
We'll write it down and put it
Yes.
on your mirror or somewhere that you always see every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On my mirror. That's a good idea. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I thank you all for your time this morning. A lot of people don't get too excited about talking about nutrition, but I thank you for staying on with me here this morning. Ryan and I will be cooking this afternoon, so I hope that you join us back then, and we will kind of continue a little bit of what we've been talking about here this morning. Okay.
Ms. Barber, you have a question?
Well, she just answered it. Is the cooking at 1:30?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And we get
And
on.
it is on Zoom. Mhm.
Now, how do we get on that? We do the regular Zoom or?
It's actually, so if you go to the Facebook page, there is a link there. And if you'd like, I can send it to you as well. If you'd like to, after the end of the call, I can get your email address and send it to you. Okay.
Please. Yes. Okay.
Absolutely. So that is this afternoon. I was actually just going to remind everybody about that, Ellen. I'm looking
Okay.
forward to it. I haven't had the chance to see the cooking demonstration, but I've heard that it was very popular last month. So I'm excited. And it's an hour and they will be cooking some really delicious food. Miss Gwen, do you have a question?
Yes. This afternoon, you
Mhm.
said one, would it be the same link that we used to this morning?
No, it'll be a different one. It is on the Facebook page, but I can send it to you
Okay.
as well. As soon as we wrap up here,
all right.
I'll stop the recording and get your information and send it to you. But all right.
Okay.
Well, so that is going to be at 1:30. It's an hour long, like we said. And then next week for our coffee talk, we are actually going to be doing a live tour of the Senior Resource Center. Since there have been some renovations and some updates to it, we wanted to show you guys what's been going on and what's taken place over the last little while. So think of some questions that you might have and have those ready to go for next Thursday. But before we wrap up, does anyone have any other questions for Ellen? All
Good show
right.
this morning. Good one.
Thank you, Trish. Thank you.
It was
My
well,
pleasure.
I will go ahead and stop this recording. Thank you all so much for joining though. And we, as always, appreciate your time and hope that you will join us next week as well.
Can I ask you a question?